Good afternoon, all. So, welcome to the course Analog Circuits. So, we are going to discuss today the frequency response of the CS amplifier. So, prior to this, previous two sessions, we discussed the MOSFET internal capacitances and the high frequency model we have derived. Okay, so that is the basis for our today's topic, frequency response. Okay, I mentioned that while discussing the capacitance. So frequency response, there will be a lower cutoff and higher cutoff, and these are dependent on the capacitance. Okay, the lower cutoff frequency normally depends on the coupling capacitors we have used and the bypass capacitor. Okay, and the higher cutoff frequency is due to the gate to source and gate to drain capacitance. Okay, so only two we have finally settled down. There are total 5 capacitances are there. Only 2 of them are major role playing in the frequency response. Okay, so that is what we are going to discuss. So first we'll see the same circuit, the CS amplifier. Okay, common source amplifier. This is the circuit we have seen very first. Okay, so source is common between the gate and drain. So at the input side you have RG and the coupling capacitor CC1. Okay, and this is the CC2 and this is the coupling bypass capacitance CS. So you have the load resistance RL and RD connected here, and R signal, V signal is connected. So this is the same picture. I am not modified anything. Okay. So in the analysis, so this will act as a perfect short circuit. All the capacitor will act as the perfect short circuit in the case of small signal operation, and there is no current. This is also open circuit. Okay. So that's fine. In the model, so you will get source is connected to ground and you have the input side and output side. Okay. So now we will be studying the frequency response. By the meaning, so we will be seeing the lower cutoff frequency and upper cutoff frequency we need to derive. Okay. So during the lower cutoff frequency, so these three capacitances plays the major role. Okay. So that is CC1, CC2 and the CS. Okay. And during the higher cutoff frequency, that means frequency response curve will come like this. Okay. So that is the 3 dB cutoff frequency we told. So this is the lower frequency side. Okay. So this is lower frequency side and this is a higher cutoff frequency. Accordingly, we will have next sessions, low frequency response and high frequency response and all. So this low frequency response, this increase here, this curve is due to these capacitances. Whereas the higher cutoff frequency is due to the MOSFET internal capacitances, which we have discussed previously. Okay. So in that majorly the gate to source and gate to drain capacitance will play the major role. About that we will discuss in high frequency response. Okay. And for all our discussions, so this discussion is continuing for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 sessions. Okay. For all these sessions, so common source I am taking major. Okay. I'm not considering common gate or common drain. Okay. So common source is the amplifier which will be used in all the applications. So this is the basis of circuit I will consider, and based on that I will do the model and their extraction. Okay. So hope it is clear to you, this picture. Okay. So in this section, we study the dependence of the gain. Dependence of the gain of the MOSFET common source amplifier of figure A, which is shown first. Okay. On the frequency of the input signal. Okay. So that is what our focus here. Dependence of gain on the frequency of the input signal. So before we begin, however, a note on terminology is in order. So there are some terminologies we will be using so that we will clarify. So since we will be dealing with voltages and currents that are function of frequency, or more generally the complex frequency variable S. Okay. So we'll be using S term for frequency. So we'll use uppercase letters with lowercase subscript. Okay. Letters are capital and subscript are small to represent the various thing. Okay. So like VGS, V is capital, GS is small, V is capital, D is small, VD, drain voltage. Okay. V is capital, O, V not. Okay. So like that, some notations we'll use to clarify this. Okay. So there is not much difference as small signal and all. So don't confuse with that. So here we'll be using this letter and subscript small. So now we'll consider the first frequency bands we'll see. Okay. So the high frequency bands. Okay. The 3 frequency bands in which the MOSFET is operating. Okay, so one is constant, we normally call midband. One it is at the lower side, we call lower frequency band or the lower 3 dB frequency, and the upper side upper band. Okay, or it is the higher band we call. Okay, so that is the 3 frequency band. So that we'll try to tell you first. Okay, so when the circuit of figure A, that is the, sorry, something happened, just a minute. Okay. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. So when the circuit of figure A was studied, it was assumed that the coupling capacitors, as I just mentioned, CC1 and CC2, and the bypass capacitor CS were acting as perfect short circuits at all signal frequencies of interest. So this is the term we have used every time in the analysis. Okay, and what we have done is we also neglected the internal capacitances of the MOSFET. So we have discussed in the previous session, that is majorly CGS and CGD. Okay, so this also we didn't consider earlier. Kindly rename, okay, your mobile. I does not come to know who is using PUBG King and all names are there. Please change the name for attendance. Okay, CGS and CGD of the MOSFET high frequency model. Okay, so that also we have not considered. Okay, so that all we are going to see here. So what we have done, we are assumed to be sufficiently small to act as open circuits at all signal frequencies of interest. That's why in hybrid phi model or T model, we have not considered this internal capacitances also, and even the coupling and bypass capacitor, we have taken it as perfect short circuit to allow the signal. Okay, so as a result of ignoring all these capacitive effects, the gain expressions were independent of frequency. So whatever gain we have, voltage gain, whatever we have done, so it was not dependent on frequency. So it is independent. So now we are learning the frequency response. We need to consider these capacitive effects majorly into account. Okay, so that's what the point is about. So in reality, however, this situation applies over only a limited to normally wide band of frequencies. Okay, so this is illustrated in figure here. So which shows a sketch of the magnitude of the overall voltage gain GV. We have derived earlier, right? So GV, that is V naught by V signal of the CS amplifier versus frequency. So this curve we have shown in the y-axis, we have taken the GV, which is nothing but magnitude of V naught by V signal in dB, decibel scale we have taken, and the frequency we have taken in hertz. So this is normally in the case of a logarithmic scale we'll be using, and this graph will be drawn on a semilog graph sheet. Okay, so x-axis will be a logarithmic scale and y-axis will be a unit scale. Such graph sheet we call it as semilog. It is not completely a log, semi-log sheet we call. And this is the band. Okay, so initially it will be at 0 and slowly it will start increasing. Okay, and at certain frequency it will get a constant. Okay, and it will maintain that constant, and then again after some higher cutoff frequency it is again going to fall. Okay, and that we take it as a 3 dB difference here, so shown here. Okay, so 3 dB frequency, why we are taking, we have learned in resonant circuits last time. Okay, so what is 3 dB frequency? Okay, why it will come 3 dB, all this thing. Okay, so you are known about that. So that is the lower frequency we call. We have considered there F1 and F2. Here we call FL and FH. FL means frequency of lower cutoff. It is higher frequency FH. Okay, and in between I have used some dash terms like this. So this is meaning it is a continuation. Okay, so it is a logarithmic scale. We will be considering normally in the function generator you have seen. It starts from 1 hertz to hundreds of megahertz. Okay, such a large range is there. So when you draw a normal scale, you could not draw that. Okay, so I will be show that in the next classes and also the semilog graph sheet how it looks like. Okay, even in the our control systems class we will be dealing with semilog graph sheet and all. Even once the practical starters, we will be looking at semilog graph sheet and all to draw the response. Okay, so it will start 1 hertz to 10 hertz, then 10 to 20, 30, like 100. Then 100 after that we'll consider 200 to 1000. After that 2000 to 10,000, like that. So after 10,000, 1 lakh to 10 lakh, like that. So such a range we will consider normally in the frequency. So because of that, it will be shown like this. Okay, this symbol, meaning it is a very long scale. Okay, not only this much limited. Okay, and this is the gain, mid-band gain in dB, 20 log AM we call. So A stands for gain, M stands for mid-band, and this is the constant region we call as the mid-band. Okay, and this is the lower frequency band we call, which is 3 dB to less. Okay, and after this 3 dB point to this side, we call that as high frequency band. So that's what we are discussing, the 3 frequency bands. Okay, and the reason also mentioned here. So in the mid band, all capacitances can be neglected. That's what we have done in the previous case. Okay, internal capacitance also neglected, and the coupling capacitance. So when we neglect that, you will see a response as a constant. Okay, that is called as mid band. So when we consider all the 3 bands, so then this gain falls off due to the effect of CC1, CS and CC2. I told you. Okay, so this lower side bend or curve is due to these 3 capacitances. Similarly, whereas the high frequency band, there is again a drop, right? So this gain drop is again due to the effect of the internal capacitances of the MOSFET. Okay, so majorly we'll be considering CGS and CGD. At the last model, high frequency model, we have seen only 2 capacitance, right? There are total 4 capacitances were there. We reduced it to 3 and then reduced it to 2. Okay, so even in that, CGD is a very small compared to CGS, but still it will play a major role here. That's why it is included. Okay, so this is about the response. Okay, frequency response overall picture I have given you. And now the same thing we'll split it. Okay, low frequency and high frequency, and we'll try to derive these frequencies. Okay, so this low frequency FL and FH expression we are going to derive. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you, the 3 bands of the frequency response. Okay, so mid band, low frequency band, high frequency band. Low frequency band, this curve is due to the coupling capacitors and bypass capacitance. And high frequency, the gain fall is due to the MOSFET internal capacitances. And this is the mid-band gain AM. We will be deriving this expression and all. And if you take 20 log of that value, it will be expressed as dB. Okay. So why we use dB scale and all, we have discussed that earlier. Again, we will see that when the time comes. Okay. Fine, we'll move further. So we observe that in this, the gain is almost constant in the mid band. Okay, the gain is almost constant over a wide frequency band called the mid band. Okay, so when we have a gain is constant, that band is called as mid band, and the value of the mid band gain is denoted as AM. It corresponds to the overall voltage gain GB. Okay, so it is depending on that value. Okay, so we have told that. Just a minute. Okay, so this is AM, so which is nothing but GV. Okay, so GV is given as V0 by V signal. The same thing we'll call it as mid-band gain, which is given by the formula you know. Okay, we have derived earlier. So which is nothing but RG by RG plus R signal into AV, right? That is the actual formula. So in that AV is substituted. What is AV for CS amplifier? Minus GM into R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL. Okay, this combined now for overall voltage gain. So minus here taken RG by RG plus R signal, GM R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL. So this is the same. You have the derivation in the case of CS amplifier derivation as GV. Okay, the same thing taken here. So remember this equation, we'll be referring that later. Okay, so this is nothing but your AM. So next, the figure B also shows that the gain falls off at signal frequencies below and above the midband. We have shown that also. Okay, the gain fall off in the low frequency band is due to the fact that even though CC1, CC2, CCS, okay, the coupling capacitors and the bypass capacitors are large capacitors, normally in the microfarad range, as the signal frequency is reduced, their impedances will increase. Okay, So their impedance is inversely proportional to frequency, right? So, and they no longer behave as short circuits. Okay, so they don't act as short circuit. Instead, they place some values over there. Okay, and that will affect that fall in gain. Okay, that is the meaning. On the other hand, so even at the higher range also you are seeing the fall, right? On the other hand, the gain falls off in the high frequency band as a result of internal capacitances, majorly CGS and CGD. Okay, so which though very small, normally this is in the picofarad range compared to coupling capacitors and all, they are in microfarad range. So these are in pico, okay, 10 to the power minus 12, or a fraction of picofarad range for discrete devices. Okay, there are two types of amplifiers also I mentioned, discrete device and IC devices, and it is still much lower in the case of IC devices, okay, integrated circuit amplifiers. Okay, so their impedances at high frequencies decrease. Okay, so because of very small, their impedances at high frequencies will decrease and thus can no longer be considered as open circuits. Okay, so that we consider short circuit and this we consider open circuits at the high frequency, right? So at the low frequency, they does not act as short circuit. Instead, they place some value. Because of that, there is a reduction in gain. Similarly, at high frequency band, these whatever we assumed earlier open circuit, CGS, CGD, which will come across the gate to source terminal and drain to gate to drain terminal. So they no longer become open circuit. Instead, they place a value. Because of that, again, there is a drop in the voltage gain. Okay, so that's what in this section, it is our objective to study the mechanisms by which these two sets of capacitive capacitances affect the amplifier gain in the low frequency and high frequency bands. Okay, so that is what about this. Okay, so this we will study now as low frequency and high frequency amplifier. Okay. So in this way, we will be able to determine the frequencies FH and FL. Okay. So we are going to determine this. Okay. The lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency. So which define the extent of the midband, how long the midband will sustain. Okay. As shown in the figure. The midband is obviously the useful frequency band because the constant, no, it is normally a useful band of the amplifier. And usually FL and FH are the frequencies at which the gain drops by 3 dB below its value at the midband. Okay, so it is having some 20 dB, means at 17 dB we will see where it is cutting off the frequency, and that frequency we call FL and FH, and its a difference we normally call it as the bandwidth of the amplifier. Okay, so amplifier bandwidth or 3 dB bandwidth is defined as the difference between the lower, okay, frequency or upper 3 dB frequency. Okay, so we call that as upper and lower 3 dB frequency. So that only we can write it as an expression. Okay, bandwidth will be denoted as B or BW. Okay, so BW we denote, and this is the given as FH minus FL. Okay, and since usually FL is very small compared to FH, right? FL may be in terms of hundreds of hertz and FH may be in terms of megahertz. So when there is a 1 megahertz and if you subtract 1 hertz or 100 hertz, there is no much difference, right? 0.999 it will come. That's why the bandwidth is approximately equal to the higher frequency we call. So that's why determining the high frequency response or FH is very essential. Okay, so even in the laboratory also, this may be observed or not, I don't know. When you do practically when you calculate the amplifier frequency response, you will have a tabular column. Okay, you will be entering the output values, V0 values, okay, for the different frequency range. Okay, in that case, what will happen is sometimes the curve will come like this. Okay, so the directly it will start V0, it will be constant, and finally you will get the drop. You will not get a complete. This is an ideal one. Okay, this is the ideal frequency response. This is the same you may not get in sometimes in the lab. Okay, so depends on the MOSFET or the transistor which you use there. Sometimes you may get this only the initial increase and there is a constant. You may not able to see the drop because reasons are there. One is in the laboratory what we are using the function generator, it may be up to 1 mega or something, it will be there. But this may fall after some 2 mega, 5 mega or something, it may fall. But in our laboratory, we may not be having that range. Okay. Because of that, you may get this kind of frequency response. You may not able to see the 3 dB, this one, okay, difference. So then normally we'll consider that whatever higher till we have got, we will take that as our FH. Okay. In this case, it is simple, right? As we have shown, this is the theoretical one. Okay. So we'll be taking the difference, you will get that. But some cases you will get like this also. Okay. So the MOSFET which is having good internal this one. So you will not see this beginning increasing curve at all. So directly you'll get the constant one and then you will see the decreased one. So in that case, so just we'll take a 3 dB difference. Okay. And we'll see this frequency FH, and this FH frequency only we call it as bandwidth. That is true. Okay. Because this lower cutoff frequency is very small compared to higher one. Okay. So these are all the assumptions. Okay. So approximately they are equal in that sense. Okay. So these are all things practically also we'll see. So due to lockdown, we are not able to do parallel labs, right? But anyhow, once it is started, so we'll be able to see these practically curves also. Okay. And what I am discussing now is theoretical one, and I'm theoretically deriving the formula for this FH. Okay. So FH frequency. So there is one more term we call it as with respect to amplifiers, that is called as figure of merit. Okay. So this figure of merit is normally called as its gain multiplied by bandwidth. Okay. There is a mid-band constant gain with the bandwidth will multiply. So it is called as gain bandwidth product, or it is called as figure of merit, or FOM in short we call. So that is given by, so gain bandwidth product equal to AM is the mid-band gain into bandwidth. So AM we have taken the first one, equation 1 we have written. Bandwidth is nothing but either higher cutoff frequency FH or FH minus FL. Okay. So that is your figure of merit for the amplifier. So this is all about the introduction to the common source amplifier frequency response. Okay. So next what we are going to do is we are going to derive the FH, which is nothing but the high frequency response of this amplifier, and then FL, low frequency response of the amplifier. So we are going to derive these equations, and then we'll try to solve the problems on that. Okay. So that is what our next. Okay. So it may not able to complete today, but how much possible, that much I will try to cover it. Okay. Okay. So this is what about the high frequency response. Okay. So the same circuit, figure 1 we have taken now. So its equivalent circuit I am able to place over here, and I'm going to derive it now. Okay. So that derivation will take number of equations, number of figures, so that we try to see step by step. Okay. To determine the gain or the transfer function of amplifier of figure A. Figure A, what we have shown, common source amplifier. Okay. At high frequencies, now we will consider only the high frequency. Low frequency I am not considering. So at high frequency, what will happen? The coupling capacitor and bypass capacitor acts as short circuit. That's why they are not playing any role. I told you already 3 frequency band and why the capacitance, how it will affect. Now I'm considering directly higher cutoff frequency, which is the major one that I'm considering first. So in that case, MOSFET internal capacitance will not be no more over open circuit. Okay, that's why I will consider that. And these coupling capacitor and bypass capacitors I will consider as short circuits. That's why they don't play any role now. Okay, because I'm considering the high frequency response, and particularly the upper 3 dB frequency FH, we replace the MOSFET with its high frequency model. High frequency model we have seen previously, including the capacitances. So that I will place here for MOSFET. And at these frequencies, CC1, CC2 and CS will be behaving as perfect short circuits. This is no change. The result is the high frequency amplifier circuit shown in figure C. So figure A, we have shown the common source amplifier. Figure B, the 3 frequency bands we have shown. And now this is the figure C. It's a continuous discussion. Okay. So here the MOSFET is shown here. See here. Okay. So this is the MOSFET. Okay. That is with high frequency model. Okay, so this is the MOSFET high frequency model. So you had the VGS and there is a gate to source capacitance we have seen, and this is a gate to drain capacitance. Okay, and GM VGS, it was there earlier also in hybrid 5 model, and R0 is there. Okay, along with in common source amplifier circuit, what you have in input resistance RG is there at the gate terminal, and there is a R signal and V signal. So okay, that also I have shown. And the output side you have the RD, because VDD becomes short circuit, so RD will come with ground. That's why it will come in parallel with R0, and along with RL is also there. Okay, so that also will come in parallel with that. Okay, so and this is the V0 we are going to place. And at the source side we had the bypass capacitance. It will act as short circuits, and the current source will act as open circuit. Because of that, source is directly connected to ground. So this is the common source amplifier. So you have the gate side now and the drain side. Okay, source side is common, ground. So now we have to do the simplification of this circuit to get the final frequency. Okay, so now one of the thing I have considered here, at the output side R0, RD, RL are in parallel. So this can be simplified, and I will denote this equivalent resistance as RL dash. Okay, remember this. So RL dash is nothing but R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL. So this I will denote, because every time I need to write R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL in equation now. So because of to avoid that, I will call this as RL dash. Okay, and then we'll try to do the input side also. We'll try to apply here Thevenin's theorem. Okay, because I have a 2 resistance and 1 voltage source. So I will try to remove this resistance into 1. So Thevenin's theorem means what? Single voltage source in series with a single resistance. Okay, so that I tried to form for the input side. Okay, and output side already it is in parallel, so it is replaced by RL dash. Okay, and this also we will try to analyze. Okay, we need to bring the capacitances into the frequency model. Okay, so I hope till here it is understood to you, because this circuit we have seen already. Now along with hybrid high frequency model we have considered. So next, this same circuit only we will try to simplify it. Okay, for our analysis. The equivalent circuit of figure C, the previous one, can be simplified by utilizing the Thevenin theorem at the input side, as I mentioned, and then by combining the 3 parallel resistance at the output side. The resulting simplified circuit is shown in figure D. So now I have a new circuit. So this is the MOSFET model. Okay, so there is no change I have made. This is the MOSFET model I had. Okay, so CGD, CGS, and GM VGS was there. R0 was there. It is combined with now RL dash. Okay, see here, RL dash equal to R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL lamp. Little bit compressed now circuit. Okay, so input side I have applied Thevenin's theorem. So you had 2 resistances and 1 voltage source. So voltage divider rule, because of that this you got. Okay, RG by RG plus R signal into V signal, that is your new value. This is the VTH value, Thevenin's voltage. I didn't name it VTH. Okay, directly I have taken its value, because again VTH, again confusion not required. So this VTH value is this one. Okay, what is that? RG by RG plus R signal into V signal. So recall that Thevenin theorem, and okay, going to network theorem and all. Okay, so then RTH. So RTH, how you will get? So whatever voltage is there will make short circuit, and then you will see R signal and RG are in parallel. So that I denote it as R signal dash. Okay, so remember this, R signal dash means R signal parallel to RG. So now next step, it is easy. So now one voltage source and resistance came, and 2 capacitances are there. Here dependent current source is there, RL dash is there. So for next step also, here some inputs are put over. Okay, so what is that? So we mentioned that earlier, CGD is carrying it is a very small. Okay, CGD is very small compared to the circuit. Okay, but it will play a major role. Okay, so this one they will try to break it. Okay, so this is CGD is affecting the output and input. Okay, it acts as a feedback now between the gate to drain. Okay, so this it will be tried to split it. Okay, so x dash we have denoted as a terminal here to split it, and the current through this will be denoted as IGD. Okay, gate to drain current, and here we have a GM VGS. So because of that, what is the load current here? So the load current will be like this. Okay, so like this, load current will be like this, and it is flowing to RL dash. So what is this load current will be? So that will be nothing but, so this GM VGS current minus IGD current. Okay, so the load current will be given as this current minus this current because of KCL, Kirchhoff's current law. So such analysis we'll do and try to simplify this circuit again. Okay, so before that, whatever we have done, we will try to write the equations for this first. So this circuit can be further simplified. Okay, as I mentioned. So if we can find a way to deal with the bridging capacitor CGD that connects the output node to the input side. So the next further analysis is only possible because of this bridging capacitor. CGD is there, no, in between gate to drain. So this we'll try to handle. Okay, so this is something new. So toward that end, so in that direction we'll work now. So consider first the output node. Okay, so what is the output node? Drain side. So it can be seen that the load current is, as I mentioned, load current means flowing through the load resistance, that is IL or I0 we call sometime, which will be given as GM VGS minus IGD. Okay, from the KCL, where here GM VGS is the output current of the transistor. So common source amplifier you have seen, no? So that output current, it is GM VGS, and IGD is the current supplied through this very small capacitance. So earlier what we have considered, capacitance is open circuit. Because of that, this current was 0, and we have considered only GM VGS in the previous analysis. So now for frequency response, this IGD is taken into consideration, and this is the current supplied through this very small capacitance CGD. Okay, so that is about this term. So at frequencies in the vicinity of FH, okay, which defines the edge of the midband. Okay, so FH is also called as the edge of the midband. It is reasonable to assume that IGD is still much smaller than GM VGS. Again, we can do an approximation, so which is very small compared to GM VGS, with the result that V0 can be given approximately. So we will not consider IGD at all. So just for high frequency response, we have considered this. Okay, but for the derivation of equivalent capacitance, we will be required that. Okay, so that's why for V0 measuration, so it is not much into effect. So that's why, so we will consider that this is the V0. Okay, so V0 is given as minus GM VGS into RL dash. This is the same equation we have seen earlier. Okay, for voltage gain. Voltage gain VGS is nothing but input voltage here. So what will happen? V0 equal to minus GM into RL dash. What is RL dash? R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL. The same equation you have written for output voltage now, V0. Okay. I have not considered now IGD in this equation. Okay. Taking that assumption, IGD I have not considered. So that is V0 equal to GM VGS RL dash. Okay. This is the same equation we have seen in common source amplifier. Okay, so this first time it may be confusing, but I will send you the notes and all, so then you will be learning this. Okay, and working out. So 1 or 2 times reading, you will understand this. Okay, so GM RL dash VGS. Okay, so like this, we will be writing the equation number 5. So we are referring this equation finally. Okay, so in this RL dash is given as R0 parallel to RD parallel to RL. I have shown in figure also, and again I am writing it here once again. Okay. So since V0 equal to VDS here, so what is the V0 output voltage in the common source amplifier, which is nothing but the drain to source voltage, right? So V0 is equal to VDS. So equation 5 indicates that the gain from gate to drain is minus GM RL dash. Okay. So because here VGS is input, okay, and V0 is VDS. So output by input is gain. So that is GM RL dash. Okay, which is same as in the midband case. That is earlier we have considered, no, not considering capacitance we have derived, right, in common source amplifier. Maybe the lecture 3, you can go back and see in the thing. Okay, the current IGD we can found, okay, to calculate the equivalent capacitance. So the IGD current can be given now. So it is from the Laplace transform, right? So capacitance will be given. So from that S into CGD, okay, this is the equivalent impedance. Current I is equal to V by R. Okay, so what is capacitance? So Ohm's law is I is equal to V by Z. So Z means what here? The capacitance, which will be given as 1 by Cs, right? So in the Laplace domain, the Z is given as 1 by C into S. So what is C? Here CGD, because I'm finding the IGD current, right? For IGD, so V is nothing but VGS minus V naught now. Where it is present, between input and output it is present. That's why VGS minus V naught. Previously also we have done no morning for control system class. Okay. VGS minus V naught divided by 1 by CS. So because of 1 divided by 1 by CS, it will come in the numerator. S into CGD, VGS minus V naught. Okay. So as the CGD, VGS will substitute for V naught from equation 5. So what was there? Minus GM RL dash VGS. So as a CGD, VGS plus, so minus minus plus GM RL dash VGS. So again here VGS is common. So if you write the IGD, which is S CGD 1 plus GM RL dash VGS. Okay. So this is about the gate to drain current. Okay. So this analysis is not complete. So I don't have much time also. 1 minute time is there. Okay. So I will continue this discussion for tomorrow. Okay. So till here you remember. So tomorrow I will continue. Okay.